Hello everyone, it's King from Tester Might, and I'm bringing you a video that's going to basically teach you everything that's known out there about Kabal's block trap. Kabal's block trap has been something that's been used in tournament play and in play in general for pretty much ever since the game came out and someone discovered it. I'm going to go into the significance of it, its pros, its cons, its execution, its setups, its application, its practicality, and all that stuff later on in the video. But for those of you wondering, the first thing I'd like to state before I get started is that I hope this video will be like a giant summary video that'll be used as a reference guide for anyone who's looking to learn Kabal's block trap or anything like that. Okay, now for those of you now wondering, okay, he keeps talking about this block trap, what is he talking about exactly? Kabal's block trap is basically a pressure tool. It's a tool that involves him Kabal has a special move called the Nomad Dash, and in this special move can be cancelled out from some of Kabal's strings. The block trap utilizes the forward 3-2 string of Kabal in order to use the block trap. So what it essentially is repetition of the forward 3-2 string cancelled into the Nomad Dash, and then you cancel the Nomad Dash into the next iteration of the forward 3-2 string. So there's lots of canceling going on, and this is why it's a difficult thing to perform. Now that we covered what it is, I'd like to go into a little history about it. Before a recent patch, Kabal had, when he executed the block trap, he had so much frame advantage that the only way for an opponent to get out was to take hits, breaker the hits, and then the situation would be reset, and then Kabal and the opponent would both be left standing and it'd be a reset situation. Now with the recent patch, the block trap has been patched such that you and your opponent are supposedly on neutral frames when the block trap is finished, meaning that after one iteration, you and your opponent are technically, both equally viable to start something of your own. Some pros of the block trap include the first most important one in my opinion, which is insane meter building. Insane. 5 iterations of the block trap, meaning that if you do the cycle 5 times, it will give you 1 bar of meter. The dash cancel, this is the second pro. The dash cancel can be cancelled to other specials. What the significance of this is that it would give Kabal a 50-50 guessing game at the end of each iteration of the block trap. So at any time when the opponent isn't expecting it, you can cancel into a special move and hit them. I'll go on to that setup later. The third pro is that it's difficult for your opponent to get out of. Even now, where you're supposedly neutral on frames, it's still difficult to get out of, because your opponent requires a fast poke or like a godly jump to get out of it. Cons. The one con I can think of is that it has a high execution requirement. It's not something you can mesh out. It's not something you can dial in. It's something that you're going to have to dedicate some time to in training. Alright. Speaking of execution, there are 2 commonly known ways of executing the block trap. The first is forward 3-2, back 4, back and block. I'll be up the commands now. And the second way is forward 3, back 2, forward 4, and back and block. I use the first method because I find it more easy. I find it easier for me to do. Again, which you should use is entirely up to you, and it's entirely preference. Play around with both, see which one you're more comfortable with, and that's the one you should be using. Now that I've gone over the execution and the pros and cons, I'd like to get into some setups. So now you've dedicated some time into training mode, and you pretty reliably got it down. You got the block trap down. You can pretty much do it effectively. Now your next question is, okay, how do I set up my opponent to be in a situation where I can pressure them with this newfound tool? Well, aside from the obvious answer of just walk up and do it, there are a couple of setups that I'd like to talk about. The first one involves the Nomad Dash itself. Any bread and butter combo of Kabal can lead to a situation where you are allowed to use the block trap. At the end of any of his bread and butters, you link in a nomad dash, you dash in, you do forward 4, which is a normal, that's a knee that gives you big advantage after a nomad dash, and from there the opponent will be reset on the ground, and he's going to be open for you to start your block trap, since he's going to be pretty bad on frame advantage. Here's a little tip. After every forward 4 you connect, you have an opportunity to dash cancel, to do a dash cancel after the forward 4 to build a little bit more meter. Again, there's no such thing as having too much meter in Mortal Kombat. That's pretty much the one reliable good setup for Kabal. Now, say you hit them with the block trap. So I say you hit forward 3, 2, and they try to match something, and you hit them with block with the dash. The best follow-up that'll give you the most time to and the most benefit is to do back 1 to 1 dash in and do forward 4. This will reset the opponent again and leave them open again to your block trap. Kabal is one of those characters where you don't want to finish combos with, because Kabal's combos are relatively low damaging and they lead to a knockdown, which in this game isn't a good thing, and especially for Kabal. Kabal loves his opponents nice and standing so he can continue pressuring them, continue building meter, and continue whittling away their life via chip damage. Now I'd like to talk about something that I mentioned earlier in the pros section, which is that the dash at the end of the block trap can be cancelled into other special moves, and I said that this would create 50-50 situations. The way this happens is, number one, if the opponent is constantly blocking and you notice them constantly blocking low, at the end of one iteration of a block trap, you can throw in a safe overhead command grab that Kabal has, and it would hit them, and it would knock them to the ground. Now let's change the situation. If they were constantly blocking high, you would want to link in a saw blade, which would hit them low, and it's a safe saw blade, so they can't really punish you for doing it, because even if they could, they would still get hit by it. So Kabal is at constant advantage every time he's doing a block trap, and this 50-50 situation can be used to sort of condition your opponent, which is something I've talked about in many videos, and it's something that you should highly get used to. Conditioning your opponent to thinking one thing, and then bam, hitting them with another thing that counters the thing they were thinking about. This is what causes mind fucks. This is what causes people to win tournaments, to win games. Fighting games are as much about mind games as they are about execution. I know I messed that one up, but I got it out. Alright, well, I wanted to keep this video nice and short. I hope you guys learned a lot about Kabal's block trap. I hope I teach you something new. If you have any questions, please just leave a comment or PM me on Test Your Might. I'm known as King over there. And yeah, thank you for your time, and I hope you guys found this a good video. Thank you.